The Arrium crisis has sparked heated debate over what the federal government should or shouldn't do to help the steelmakers survive. More than 8,000 jobs are at risk after the company went into voluntary administration with more than $4 billion debt. Administrators are now trying to chart a way out of the mess.
There's no phoenix from the ashes as yet, but unions, governments and administrators are attempting to forge a new future for Australia's steel industry.
No redundancies, business as usual, but I re-emphasise it is very much early days.
In the short term, Arrium's wages will be paid and contracts fulfilled, but in Canberra, opinions are divided on the long-term future of Australia's steel industry. After being accused of a protectionist approach yesterday, Bill Shorten's language was more tempered today.
We believe it is right that we strengthen our anti-dumping provisions so that Australian steelmakers have a level playing field to compete with imported product.
You don't get involved in a knee-jerk reaction, the sort of thing that says, let's tear up our trade agreements, let's tear up the jobs in the new economy to go and play politics with an issue in South Australia.
With the steel industry under threat, in a state with chronic unemployment and in an election year, the implication from his colleagues is the Treasurer has a tin ear.
State and territory governments using federal taxpayers' dollars for construction and any federal government projects should use Australian steel, especially where it's, sometimes it's not always exactly possible. We don't necessarily make every kind of steel.
South Australia's Labor government has heaped praise on Mr Pyne's efforts, but that didn't stop the Treasurer firing a warning shot over the coalition's bow.
It would be a very brave Prime Minister who would go into a federal election to see the Australian steel industry supported by only 1.6 million taxpayers.
It might be in Whyalla that Arrium's troubles are felt most acutely, but a company collapse would resonate nationwide.
A large proportion of steel product from Whyalla goes to the rod mill in Newcastle. So if Whyalla does close, what are we looking at? Are we then looking at imported steel? And we're against that.
The creditors will meet in 10 days. Leah McLennan, ABC News, Adelaide.
Around 900 workers of Arrium subsidiaries in Queensland are waiting to hear from administrators about the long-term security of their jobs. Arrium owns a series of OneSteel distributors and recycling depots across the state, including in Mackay, Gladstone and Brisbane. The Australian reinforcing company may also be affected. It has sites in Brisbane, Cairns and the Sunshine Coast. For now, all Queensland businesses will continue to operate as normal.
If the worst does come to the worst, however, we need to put workers in the position where they can extract the full face value of any entitlements that they're owed.
The state government has been in contact with the administrators.